What's up everybody, Billy here, and I'm back with another episode of Real versus Fake. You can call it episode 2, I don't think I really want to call it that because I want to make sure that I get it right this time in this very first episode. Now if you can go ahead and click up on this card over here, you guys can see the last episode that I did where I did compare a pair of Yeezy Boost 350s and they weren't the same colorways at all. Now it's a bad comparison, but I just wanted to show you guys, the difference between the real one versus the fake one. But as you saw in a previous unboxing video, which I'll also leave in the description below by Andre, he unboxed this pair right over here from a site that he purchased them off of. So now we have the exact same colorway for both of them, and let's do a direct comparison between the real and the fakes. So let's get started. So you're about to get a dose of Yeezycation right here, just so you guys know the difference between a pair of real ones and fake ones. So let's get started with what I think is the most obvious telltale sign right away, and that's the laces. So let's switch up to the top down camera right now. That's a mouthful right there. And let's just compare the same. We're going to compare two rights to two lefts. So here, we'll get the two rights right beside each other. So let's just take a look at these two right over here. We're going to see that the laces are different, right? On the legitimate one over here, the laces are a solid color. They're just one tone to match the shoe. Now on the fake ones, you can already tell it's trying to match the pattern on the shoes themselves, and that isn't right at all. See, if you're going to be looking for real ones, you're looking at the ones that are a solid color on the laces and not this dual tone color one over here. That for me is the first obvious sign that they are fake. Now the next one is also on the exterior where you can see, I'm going to take a look at the bottom of them as well and on the insole as well to kind of do a more thorough check, but I'll give you guys the ones where if you're seeing someone wear one, if you can spot it right away. So over here on both of these, on the two right feet, you can tell that the tab is a little bit closer up to where the ankle color is up on the top there. See, and also the other thing too is you can see the color difference as well over here. This one is a nice, you see like a light color where the dots just accent it nicely, the little heel dots over here. When this one over here, it's a lot darker. You can see almost trying to match actually that really bad colorway of it, and even the dots are very, very dark to try to kind of contrast it over here. And you can see on the legitimate ones, it's a lot better of a shade on there. And the other thing you can kind of tell, this one's a little bit harder though, is the actual angle of the tab. According to the logo over here, if it's kind of like a sign that goes a little bit across from it like that, it's not really of a too much of a deep slope. You can see it over here. They're a little bit more legitimate. On these ones here, you can kind of tell it is a harsher angle kind of going down. Sometimes they're kind of going up. It's weird. If it crisscrosses a little bit more with the Yeezy logo like that, that means they're legitimate. Now the other thing that you can tell, at least from the side of the shoe as well, is over here on the logo where they embossed it and they dig it in a little bit deeper. You're going to see on the legitimate one that it's actually darker compared to the fabric on the outside of it over here. You can see that it's a lot more prominent because they had to, emboss it a little bit deeper. So you can see on this one over here that it is darker. It stands out a little bit more. And over here on the fake one though, it's a lot harder to tell. It's not as deeply embossed in there, so it's a lot lighter and it looks more like the fabric itself. So you can tell from that area, at least right over there, that it's a fake compared to the real one over here because the real one is darker. So those are the more obvious signs that you could probably tell if you're looking at the shoe directly if it's going to be real or fake. Now I'm going to move over to a part that's a little bit harder to see, but if you get to see the bottom, this is probably one of the bigger telltale signs. So actually on the bottom itself, you can see that there's actually two things that you can look out for. Now these shoes were worn a little bit just to see the actual comfort of them, and believe you me, the fake ones, they weren't comfortable at all compared to the legitimate ones. So they are a little bit darker and a little bit more scuffed up from that. So hopefully that doesn't, pay too much more attention to it. So anyway, you guys can kind of see over here, I'll try to highlight it at least, that this part over here, let me just hold these up, they're not holding up too straight. You can see that this area over here, it's kind of cut out compared to the rest of the shoe, at least on the bottom over here. On the legitimate ones, this area over here is actually a little bit of a shade lighter. It's hard to tell. When they're actually worn in, it'll be a little bit harder to tell because it'll kind of, get all dirty at the same time. But when they're brand new, at least like this area is going to be a little bit lighter than the sole around it over here. Compared to this one over here on the fakes, this area is going to either be the same color all the way through or even a little bit darker. So that's how you can tell on that part. The next part is actually on the exposed boost material itself. This little white part down over here. Yeah, this one got a little bit dirty. But over here, it might be hard to tell on the camera. I'll try to kind of angle it. But there's almost like these little tiny little dots on them. Some people have actually called them boost nipples. You guys can look it up. It's a legitimate term. And these little boost nipples, you can kind of feel on them over here. And that's how you can tell. But on these fake ones over here, there's no boost nipples whatsoever. It actually almost feels like styrofoam. It's a little bit weird. You can see it got dirty there, but it doesn't really matter because you don't feel any of those little ridges on there, the little nipple effects. And on this one over here, you can. There's a layer here, here, and up here. So that's how you can tell, at least from the bottom area. So let's move into the actual insole itself, where there's another big telltale sign. So next up, we're going to actually move into the shoes themselves. So let's take out these little areas here because we're going to have to delve into the insoles themselves. And we're gonna just, first and foremost, we're gonna just take it out here because that's where we're gonna go next. These are on the fake ones over here. As I mentioned, they were worn once before. But here we go. I'm gonna pull out this one here as well. Just take a look at the differences on the bottom at least. This one's a lot like, you know, cleaner, whiter. You can see. You can also just see on the text themselves, a nice dark embossing there. This one here, it tries to have the same kind of, you know, effect, the same color on it. It doesn't really look very good. That's another area you can check right there too, is with the insole right over there. So let's move on into probably what I consider to be the biggest telltale sign of them all, and this one's where you can tell if you actually get a hand of the shoe, and if you actually can see it, or even just to get them to take a photo of it inside if you're buying it online. But I would never suggest it. I would try to use a service that verifies these things beforehand, just to be safe and just to be certain. Or if you can see it in real life somewhere, if you're buying it off of Craigslist, or if you're in Canada off of Kijiji, if you can inspect it yourself, look out for these things. So on the legitimate pair, this is probably the biggest one over here. The stitching, it might be hard to see. I'll try to make sure the camera can see it. You see they use black threading over there to keep the insole to the bottom of the shoe. You can see it there, nice little black threading. And what do we see on the fake ones instead? White. So that's one key difference over here. In the legitimate one, there's gonna be black threading on the inside, keeping the shoe together. And on the fake one over here, they're gonna be using this like cheapy white one, and you can even see, like, I'm gonna show you guys on the bottom of this one. Might be hard to tell, but it's already splitting there. Like, it's not even good quality shoe. They're not very comfortable either. They're just basically for making a fashion statement, and that's it. And you can see on this one over here, they do have at least nice fabric and everything else going down there and keeping it all together. And there you have it, folks. That is the comparison between an actual real, these guys are real, these guys are faking them. Let me get them together, at least the reals and the fakes. Let me just make sure. Yeah, getting the, here we go. We got the real Yeezys, we got the fake ones in the same colorway, so we can actually compare them for you guys, and you guys can see the difference between them so you don't get ripped off. Now for the other colorwares, there are a little bit of different nuances. For example, the heel colors and everything else can be a little bit different where the tabs are, and there's other ways with other colorwares where the patterns are either mirrored or other kind of things that are not correct with it. The Oxford tans are probably the easiest ones to buy replicas of, and they are harder to tell because the pattern, it's really like ingrained in there. The colors look really, really nice together, so it's harder to tell on an Oxford tan, but there still are differences that you can spot a fake versus the real one. So if you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see more episodes in real versus fake, be sure to press that like button so you guys let me know that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you also would like to see other things below, so leave a comment and let me know what I should do next on the next real versus fake episode. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more videos just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And as always, guys, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watching this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. These were really expensive, but they're comfortable. These were really cheap, but they're uncomfortable.